In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we are going to be talking about a huge weekend for the Chicago Bears. I'm talking about a huge. Maybe talking about a little hockey, a little hot stove baseball, and more. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You could see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. This season is currently going on, so make sure you head on over to icehogs.com, get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent ya. Alex, how are you doing, even though you didn't get to go on your outside post-game walk today?
Good news is I went to the mall and did an indoor post-game walk. So that worked out nicely
I
because
thought
there
they
was
closed your mall down.
no Yorktown is still around. Woodfield is still around. Stratford is the one that's gone.
Gotcha.
I could have gone to Oakbrook, but that's an outdoor mall, so screw that.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah, no. But you know what? Shout out to all the people who went to Soldier Field today. Brave the cold, obviously. You know, I was thinking yesterday, here we are, it's December, and the Bears are playing a game that means something to them that's not, oh, hey, here's an implication of a draft pick. Oh, if you lose this game and these teams win, you will move up this number of spots in the draft. That wasn't the case. You know, this was a big game. They needed to win this game. They needed to pound the crap out of this team, and they did. And you're in a really tight division battle right now, and you really needed to take care of business. And then eventually things just aligned perfectly this week in terms of wins and losses in the division. Now, I was thinking, if this was like a normal December where the Bears had 5 wins and the Browns had 3 with this temperature, you'd probably guess there'd be almost half no-shows, right? I mean, with this amount of cold, with the breeze off the lake, with that wind chill, and like even if the Bears were bad, you'd still probably draw a little better if you were playing a division team like Green Bay or Detroit or the Vikings, or you were playing, I don't know, the 49ers or the Chiefs or something. But, you know, a Bears Browns game in December normally is like, okay, who wants to watch that? But because this was a meaningful game for the Bears, you're like, wow, the people showed up like we expected to, being a big game. And it was cool to see. It was cool to see a good atmosphere and a lot of people braving the cold. And they were into it the entire game, even when they were up by a lot towards the end. It seemed like, based on what I saw on some of the shots on television, a lot of people stuck around, even with that bitter cold. So shout out to everyone who went to the game today.
Gary went to the game today.
Did he? Where'd he sit?
Yes. I don't know. He sent me a picture. I couldn't tell where he was sitting. But yeah, he went to the game. He asked me if I wanted to go, and I couldn't because my daughter had a dance thing today. But even if she didn't have a dance thing, whoo, I'd had to think real hard about that because it was cold.
Yeah, my buddy Tommy, shout out to him, who I did Through the Garden with. He was at the game today, him and his wife, I believe, and he sent me some pictures. And he stayed the whole time. And he's like, you know, we prepared pretty well, so we were okay. But still, you really have to prepare for a game like that. And personally, I was fine just sitting on my couch in
Yeah,
the heat
I have
at
an
home
86
watching
inch TV,
toasty
and I have 86-inch TV and snacks and heat.
in your Greedo shrine.
Uh,
Just
yeah,
in between commercial breaks, you go downstairs and you just look at your Greedo shrine.
one of these days I just need to take a photo of me in my Greedo mask and watching the Bears game.
You should. You really should. Maybe on the last day of the season. But
But
yeah, so I think that a lot of those fans, including Gary, deserve a lot of credit for sitting out there today, especially
yeah,
if you were in the end zone where there was the shadow.
yeah, and shout out to those Bears fans that took their shirts off.
They were showing some on the Fox
Yeah,
broadcast, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's you might have frostbite, but you made it on TV. So proud parent moment there.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, this wasn't we are this week was the fourth to last week of the season, regular season. So we're at the end of the season. And it wasn't like you said, it wasn't draft pick implication or playing spoiler or in the hunt. Uh After today, the Bears are currently the second seed in the NFC playoffs.
Hmm.
And Philip Rivers almost helped us out immensely by beating Seattle.
Oh, I needed Philip Rivers to complete that so bad.
That would have been huge because then it
That
would have
was
been
the
a
one
path.
thing that didn't go our way.
Yeah, that would have been the path for the Bears to possibly get the number one seed. Um, not to get the cart in front of the horse, but at least had a path. But before we
I
dive
mean, I
into the
think the
Bears,
Rams are going to lock that up.
I think so. I mean, well, honestly, uh, if you look, the Rams, they've got Seattle next. If they, um, if they take care of that game, then they have the Falcons and the Cardinals. Uh,
Yeah.
and those are two easy wins. Um, the Seahawks have the Rams, the Panthers, and the 49ers. So two playoff teams and a in the hunt team.
Yeah, I think that it's most likely that they get. I mean, you never know, but I mean, right now, it's hard for me not to say that Matt Stafford is the prime MVP candidate, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would think so. Like his numbers are great. His team, he's the focal point of that whole offense and carrying that load. Yeah, so it would seem to me that that would be the case.
Because I mean,
Uh,
who else at this point is there?
I mean, uh, Sam Darnold.
Maybe. Earlier in the season, I would have said Baker Mayfield, but that's not really the case anymore.
Uh, I mean, you could say Josh Allen or Drake May.
Yeah, I think Drake May could get some love there, obviously, with what they've got going in Foxborough and the way he's played. Obviously, Josh Allen was probably the betting favorite, and he still could be. I think Josh Allen would probably be the biggest threat, right, at this point.
I'm going to throw a dark horse in there. Somebody we saw up close and personal today. Miles Garrett.
Well, I mean, yeah, with the season he's having, he's what, a sack and a half away
He's
with 3 games left?
one sack away from tying the NFL record, and he's got 3 games to do it.
Yeah, that's no, I get it. I don't think he'll win it, but I definitely like that kind of dark horse idea. It's a shame. He is just wasting away on that team.
Yeah, he's so good. Can you imagine if he was on the Bears?
Oh my God. Like, our problems would be solved. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Like we would if somehow you were able to just transplant him over, you would have to think that the Bears would be their odds of winning the Super Bowl would go up astronomically.
Oh my God, yeah. Absolutely. If you had Miles Garrett and Montez Sweat playing on that line, holy hell. And not only would you have a much better player in Garrett, that would make Montez Sweat even better.
Yep. You'd have the Tez effect from Miles Garrett.
Right. Exactly.
But looking at the Bears, really good weekend. Uh, and not just Bears, but Sean, very good. The Packers lose. Micah Parsons goes down with a non-contact knee injury. Um, Christian Watkins went down with an injury. Um, the Rams beat the Lions, and the Chiefs were knocked out of the playoffs. So we don't have to hear. And
Yeah.
Mahomes has an ACL, so um, I'm guessing that means Travis Kelce's going to retire.
Yeah. Some really rough injuries this week. I mean, some of the greatest stars in the NFL. And I hate to see anybody get hurt,
I do
whoever it
too,
is.
but you know what? People are going to get hurt, and if it benefits the Bears, I'm not rooting for it, but if it benefits the Bears, it benefits the Bears.
Well, if it benefits the Bears, you have to take advantage of it.
Yes.
That's the big thing here. And I mean, none of these injuries to any of these teams is insignificant. I mean, I know that the Chiefs season is over now, but still, that is Patrick Mahomes probably getting off-season surgery, and there's going to be the recovery time. And I think that it is time for the Chiefs to kind of retool a bit. I think they can rebound, but they might see next year as just a complete retool the year, and then you kind of come back at it because you're going to have Patrick Mahomes for a while. So that's something where you say, okay, if he's going to have an injury like that, at least it's now when you're not contending. You can do what you can to get him healthy again, to repair him, to get him back to his normal self, and then you look at the long-term game. Because it was kind of clear for a little bit that the Chiefs were pretty much done. I think this iteration of the Chiefs is over. It's done. Patrick Mahomes is going to still be there. I would assume Andy Reid, although I don't know how much longer he's going to be coaching, but I'm not saying that Andy Reid is done if he doesn't want to be, nor am I saying Patrick Mahomes is when he comes back. But like you mentioned, Travis Kelce and just this era of Chiefs football, this is done. They're going to have to really retool this. And we got Joe Tooney because they had to make some cuts. They had to rearrange their cap a bit. And when you have to part ways with some of your big pieces in the trenches, eventually that's going to come around to get you, and it has.
The Joe Tooney effect is as soon as he leaves a team, that team starts stinking it up. Left the Patriots when they got bad. Left the Chiefs, don't make the playoffs. And that dude's a winner.
Yes, he is.
I don't
Yes,
know if
he
you
is.
saw pregame, Gronk and Tom Brady were talking about him and being a winner. And what percentage of the seasons that he's played in the league have been he's been in the Super Bowl. And the NFL also leaked the script that the NFC Championships game is going to be the Bears versus the Packers. So,
Huh? What?
oh, you didn't see this?
No.
They on one of the social medias, the NFL's official social media account released an event, and it was the NFC Championship game, and they had two different versions. One was Bears versus TBD, and the other was Packers versus TBD.
Was this today?
And this was like 2 or 3 days ago.
Huh.
So they released the script. So we know
If that
we
does happen, I'm going to ask some serious questions.
we all are going to have serious questions.
I mean, it's
All gonna-
possible.
I mean, right now, if the season were to end today, the Bears would be playing the Packers in Chicago, first round.
Hmm.
So that would rule out uh the NFC Championship game.
But the season does not end today.
The season does not end today. It does not. Um and uh the if the Bears, oof, I mean, there's a path to for the whoever whoever finishes second in the NFC North moving up, but man, it's gonna be tough because
Yeah, I mean, these last three games they have to play.
I mean because right now you've got your four division winners,
Hmm.
and then the three wild card teams are the Seahawks, who are, as of right now, 11-3. The 49ers are 10-4, and the Packers are 9-4-1. It's starting to look a little grim for the Lions to make the postseason.
Yeah, that was a big loss today. It's still possible, but that was definitely they needed to win that game to feel secure, and they played a pretty exciting game with the Rams. It was a really, really good game, but they came up a little bit short. And I know that they've had some injuries themselves. Obviously, didn't they lose Sam Laporta for the year?
I don't know, maybe.
And then Kirby Joseph is hurt. And then obviously Ragnar was coming back, right? And then he failed his physical.
Yep.
So he's not coming back. Um, and again, they still got a lot of weapons. They can still score. Their offense has looked a lot more like the Lions' offense over the last few weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a tougher battle for them. Who knows? Their season might hang in the balance when it comes to Week 18 at Soldier Field.
Yeah, I mean, and the Lions don't have an easy schedule to wrap it up. They got only one game left at home, and that's against the Steelers. The Steelers, who are fighting for their playoff life.
Hmm.
Um, and then you go to Minnesota, who Minnesota has nothing to lose, and they can play spoiler.
They did beat you already.
Mm-hmm. Um, so and then you go to Chicago.
I really hope that it's just absolutely frigid that day.
I mean, it very well might. It's very well might be.
I mean, it's January in Chicago. The chances are really good. They're even better with the way this winter is going so far. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But either way, the Bears got a really nice little boost this week. Because if the Packers and the Lions both won, the Bears would still be in second place because the Packers would have maintained first place had they won. It would have been a half a game, but still. So it would have really come down to next week if they could get back in first place or not. So that was a big swing this week for the Bears. And while it doesn't guarantee anything, it does boost your chances a little bit because it was very possible going into this afternoon that even with the win, even going 10-4, that they very well could still not make the postseason. It's still technically possible they can miss it, but at least you've increased your chances a little bit with this week.
Yeah, I mean, could they make it in without winning any more games? Yes, they could. Would it be easy? And is it likely? No. So, before we dive into this game, you look at the remaining schedule. You have Green Bay coming to town Saturday. Then you go to San Francisco, and then you come home to play the Lions the last week of the season. And uh and I think bare minimum you have to win at least one of those three games.
Yes, you do. And
And preferably it's the Packers.
oh, obviously, yeah.
I mean, from not just because it's the Packers, but they're the one that's in second place in your division.
Right. Right.
So if that's the team, um, and plus it's the first one. It's the first in that gauntlet. So it's if you can wrap that one up, then after uh if you're able to win that game, um you're looking at a much easier path to the postseason because you're um you're 11-4.
Right. Yeah. You know, I find this interesting thinking about, and I hate doing this. I hate thinking a week ahead. All that matters is the next game, but I think one of the games I'm really scratching my head over is that game on the road in San Francisco because it seemed like for a while San Francisco was very beatable. Now they're really starting to look like the 49ers again. Now, granted, they've beaten up on some not so great teams recently, but still, I mean, they look like the way they've looked over the past few years, more so than they have in the past. Whereas, like early in the season, you watch them, you're kind of like, I mean, yeah, they're good, but they're banged up, and I don't know. But now they're definitely looking more like themselves. Here's one thing as we transition to this game, I want to get your honest opinion here because this is where I was kind of racking my brain today during this game. Now the Bears defense, right? They only gave up 3 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
They held Shakir Sanders under 200 yards, 3 interceptions, but the big one was 5 sacks. They had five
Mm-hmm.
sacks today. The Bears defense did.
Yep.
Now, here's where I'm just a little, and I'm not complaining here, but this is where I'm just a little meh. That Browns line was decimated.
Yeah,
Decimated.
they ruled three of their five starters out before the game, and they lost Tevin Jenkins during the game.
Yeah, when I heard Tevin Jenkins is questionable to return, I had a PTSD moment. I'm like, oh wait, he's not on the Bears anymore. But we know Shakir Sanders is athletic, he can move, but he's still a rookie in this league, and let's be real, he did not look very good today. And there was at least one sack, I believe it was the Dexter sack, where he was just standing there for 5 seconds, just over 5 seconds, and then Dexter got him.
You,
And
you
that's
notice
one
how
where I'm like,
you notice how with Shador Sanders, it's not oh he needs an internal clock or he needs to be quicker or it's oh he's just a rookie. Why does
uh-huh,
Caleb not ever get the same treatment? Jordan Love holding on to the ball, and nope, no comment there. It's Caleb Williams gets held to a different standard. Period.
he does. Which I somewhat understand considering he was the first overall pick and he was labeled as a generational talent, but it is kind of amazing to hear some of the excuses for Sanders. And I'm not one to rule out a guy right away. And there are some things Shakir Sanders can do, but boy, I mean, so much of this game. Hey, I mean that Browns offense, they didn't know what the hell was going on.
They
And
the
Shakir
Brown
Sanders was not on the same page with anybody.
the Browns offense just looked befuddled. Befuddled. Like I don't even know how else to say it. Like uh barring those two like deep passes, which weren't really good throws. He threw rainbows and let the guy run underneath it and he just outran the defender. Like take away those and man, that team's just not moving the ball. And there was one point where the Bears just went for it on fourth down, and you're like, why? And it was still, you were probably going to win, but it wasn't in the bag at that point. And they don't fear the Browns offense at all.
No, no, they don't. And I mean, they were getting delay of games off of kickoffs. And do you remember, was it the first or second drive where Shakir Sanders had to run to the sideline because they couldn't get on the same page of what the play was, and that just wound the clock down more and more and more. You remember
Y-
that early in the game?
Yeah. I mean, I think Kevin Stefanski is a good coach. I think he's got a good offense, but man, there's no way he's not getting fired in this offseason. There's no way.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It
look at what's going on.
and the thing is it sucks because he was against Deshaun Watson trade. He didn't want Deshaun Watson, and he has Deshaun Watson who hasn't even played. Um, he didn't want he didn't want to play Shador Sanders, and his whole offensive line is hurt. And you're like, what is he supposed to do? Like, there's just, when you have no quarterback, no offensive line, it's you're not getting him the tools. But it's the NFL. It's the not for long league, and it's next year the Browns. It sucks for them because they have too much money tied up in Watson to cut him. So he's going to come back in the mix. You have two draft picks in Gabriel and Shador Sanders that are you're saddled with because they're draft picks. And you're like, I don't feel great about any of them, to be honest with you. So, and you've got two first round picks, but this is a shitty quarterback draft. Like, what do you do? Yeah, you're probably going to suck next year too.
Yeah, and
Like
Miles
you,
Garrett is just going to keep rotting there.
yeah. I mean, like you've got to consider trading him. Not
Yeah,
not like just it gets the money off the books and gets you more draft capital. Maybe you can roll some of those draft picks over into next year, and uh, and then maybe get a quarterback in that draft.
yeah. I get a haul. Just restock your organization with ammunition. But boy, I mean, they've just made a number of moves that just keep setting them back and back and back. But I mean, that whole offensive structure was just, it was non-existent. And, there was a point where the Bears had like double the first downs compared to actual plays the Browns ran on offense. And, going back to what I was saying about some of the sacks that they let up is, some of it was, hey, they didn't have a good offensive line out there today. And also, Shakir Sanders, I mean, that one Dexter sack, he was just standing there. He didn't know what the hell was going on. They finally brought him down. My point is, if you had a better pass rush, you would have probably sacked him 8 times today. And you know that against the better team like the Packers, you're not going to get home like you did against the Browns today because you look ahead, you're going to be playing much better offenses with much better lines and more experienced quarterbacks. You are not going to be going through whatever the hell that was on the Browns offensive line today. Again, I don't want to take away credit for what the defense did, what they did with the sacks, but I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. I'm just saying. The defense played very hard today, I thought. They got 3 more interceptions. They played hard. They played great for what it's worth. I'm just saying that Browns offense was a train wreck.
It's yeah. Um, so I mean, watching this game, the Bears should have won by a lot more. Um, the offense still wasn't fully in sync. Um, you had some drops. You had a couple plays where Caleb was trying to make a big play when it he could have just scrambled and picked up an easy 5, 6 yards, maybe 7. Um, it, you've got to clean all that up, but the defense played opportunistic. They didn't give up, very many yards. They stopped the run. My favorite stat of this whole game, not the score. I mean, I love the score, but it's the longest run they gave up to a running back 4 yards.
Yeah, they didn't run the ball at all. They really didn't. And how many rushes do they even have? Like I felt like it was very few.
They didn't run a ton. Um, it was the I
16
mean,
attempts.
yeah, the Bears really had them down, and that's two of those were scrambles. They were not designed runs. So Judkins had 12 runs.
Right.
Williams had one, and then they had the tight end ran one. So you really had 13 running back carries versus
Yeah.
35 pass attempts.
Their running backs had 24 total rushing yards. 24. And, obviously part of the equation to this is the Bears were ahead pretty much the entire game. So running the ball was a little harder for them just being in the situation that they were in. But I mean, the few times they did run, outside of a few scrambles from Sanders, I mean, they didn't do anything
Yeah.
on the ground.
Judkins' longest run of the game was 4 yards. He had a 1.8 yards per carry average.
And Judkins is a solid player. So, I mean, good on them
Yeah.
for taking that away. Uh,
Uh,
Truly good on them for taking that away.
Judkins was a guy that the Bears were interested in drafting
Hmm.
this NFL draft.
Yeah.
And his former Ohio State teammate Travion Henderson, who scored a touchdown today against the Bills. Um,
Hmm.
but the Bears just shut them down, just absolutely shut them down. It was a um, huge game, and the weather was Arctic. Um, and you worry with the Arctic weather. Are you going to be able to throw the ball and people catch it? And you did see a couple drops. You saw like a big one um, by
Luther
um,
Burden.
no, the Monungai that on that
Oh,
screen
yeah, earlier in
pass
the game. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he very well may have picked up 40 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was bad. There was no way, no doubt about it. It was just that was a bad drop. Um, I another player I want to talk about who has completely turned it around in my view. Not only in the production, but also the way they carry themselves. DeAndre Swift.
Yes.
He's
He had a
hitting the
really good
hole.
game.
He is hitting the holes harder. He's not going down on that first contact. He's driving like he's hitting that player hard and driving. Um, I think I think the fact that Kyle Monungai came in and was running the ball well, and he went, "Oh shit, I've got to be better." And
Hmm.
um, and since he started doing that, he's gotten the lion's share of carries. I do think Kyle Monungai got punished a little bit for dropping two passes with less carries, but DeAndre Swift played a great game today.
That second touchdown run was really, really nice because he could have gone down two or three different times and what looks like could have been a stop short. Then he gets a first down. Next thing you know, he's in the end zone. And you saw several runs like that today. There were a few runs where he just spun off the tackle and was able to keep going. I thought even his first touchdown was really nice. The way he cut quickly and was able to get to the end zone, get to the outside, that was really, really well done. Because if you look today at the Bears running game, it's like, okay, some games you see them go off like they did in Philly when they had over 200 combined yards. DeAndre Swift, he had just under 100 yards today. He had 98. So that's a pretty good day at the office. But I really do think the theme of today's game was being able to bounce and get those extra yards, not losing yards, not being stuffed. They were able to bounce and move forward, and those extra yards made all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Um, I think Luther Burden is going to be a problem to opponents. You
Oh,
know,
that spin move he made today, that was pretty.
is once he gets a little more experience, man, I think he's going to be a big problem for defenses. Uh, Colston Loveland You're starting to see
Yeah.
him become
Yeah.
more and more,
He was your leading receiver today with 84 yards.
and he looks good. And the minute that he gets uh, that connection and the rapport built better with Caleb Williams, man, it's it's if you can just get Caleb Williams to dump it off to Loveland a little more, and it's this offense is going to be cooking.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not saying there weren't moments where you needed a little bit of a okay, here's a learning moment type thing, or there wasn't maybe the best execution. I thought as a whole, Caleb Williams was pretty good today.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I mean, stats wise, he threw for 242 yards, two touchdowns, no interceptions, over 100 quarterback rating. The completion percentage wasn't great, but there was also a few drops in there as well. And I know everyone
Easily
beats.
4 or 5 that could have been completed.
Yeah, we the whole narrative in the NFL is, oh, he can't complete enough passes, and you know what is the Bears are winning, and he's a key cog in that, and he doesn't turn the ball over. He just doesn't really turn the ball over.
Did you see that stat today? Like
Yeah,
of all players to throw at least 1,000 passes, Caleb Williams is the fewest interceptions in NFL history.
yeah, it's. I mean, who knows what happens in these next three games? But you know, he has to this point has not turned the ball over very much. He's really good. And there was that one touchdown that he threw to DJ Moore, and you were like, "Oh my God, I thought it was intercepted."
So did I. That was like a Madden glitch. That was
You want
wild.
you want to talk about Madden glitches? Did you see Philip Rivers in the new Madden?
Oh yeah.
Where they made him 300 pounds.
Big old grandpa.
Uh,
Great Uncle Phil.
oh my God. He's still younger than, or Jay Cutler's still younger than Philip Rivers.
That's wild. And Jay Cutler hasn't played an NFL game in what, 9 years?
You know what? Did you see that he said, because he knows Ben Johnson from the days in Miami. He said if something happened to Caleb and the Bears called him, he would go suit up and play for Ben Johnson.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's you know how wild that would be? That wouldn't
Jay,
happen.
oh yeah. But
There's no way.
Jay Cutler had his faults, but could you imagine if he had a line like Caleb has now and with a scheme that Ben Johnson has and not this hodgepodge of all these different guys? I mean, I know he did pretty solid under Adam Gase, but I mean, you remember him and Mike Martz. That did not mix. That was like water and oil.
Yeah, that Mike Mar- Mike Martz thought he was going to break Jay Cutler. And for whatever you say about Jay Cutler, he was like, "Nah, I don't give a shit.
Do you remember
I'm
that
going to run the
hot?
ship."
Do you remember that hot mic moment where I think it was on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings and Jay Cutler was rolling and they're in the huddle. They break the huddle and the mic on the NBC broadcast picked up Jay Cutler yelling. He said, "Tell Martz I said fuck him." Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, Mike Martz. But yeah, I mean, it's hard when you were a guy like Jay Cutler, excuse me, and you had to deal with a line that was as bad as it was for a number of those years. Was it his first or second season he was here when he got like sacked 9 times in one half and he was going to the other locker room because he was confused after getting his head bashed in so many times? You remember that?
Yeah.
So it's nice that we have an offensive line that can better protect our quarterback. And we saw it today in that first half. Everything was away from Myles Garrett. Everything. They were running to the outside away from Myles Garrett. They were throwing away from Myles Garrett. They were doing the bootlegs away from Myles Garrett. So I thought Ben Johnson had a pretty nice game plan against Myles Garrett and this really, really good Browns defense.
And Miles Garrett had a good game, but
He did.
it didn't impact things. There was no
No.
like those sacks. They were not at like these key moments. I mean, I know the one knocked him back out of the field goal range, it knocked him out of Cairo Santos field goal range.
Yeah, that's
No
another thing.
any other kicker, 31 other kickers would have made it no problem. But um, for the most part, you negated him. And like I still think Miles Garrett is the best edge rusher since Lawrence Taylor. And
It's hard
this
to
is
argue
not
that.
and it's not to knock Micah Parsons at all. They're just two different guys. And Micah Parsons he's a linebacker that plays edge rusher. Miles Garrett is a defensive lineman that's just a freak athlete.
Hmm.
And it's hard to, you attack him differently. Micah Parsons, if you run away from him, he's going to run you down. He's fast as lightning. Is when you run away from Miles Garrett, that's where you're effective. Or they in the pass rush, they chip him and then throw it over his head and screen him to death like that way. And that's what they did. Micah Parsons is you got to go at him, and you've got to because he's smaller. If you have an offensive lineman go and really square up to block Micah Parsons, they can't. If you square up, Miles Garrett is a much bigger man, and he's gonna level that offensive lineman. You can run at Micah Parsons. It's just a different way of attacking him. And they didn't have a good game plan against Micah Parsons. They had a much better game plan for Miles Garrett. And next week, it seemed like you don't have to worry about Micah Parsons because that knee injury didn't look good.
No, no, it didn't. I mean, you could tell right away.
And
And
what was wild is they just put him as questionable to come back.
yeah, I mean, I wonder how they diagnosed that. I mean, you knew he wasn't coming back in the game. Like you knew it, but I don't know. I don't know how exactly they designate that. But yeah, I mean, when you're facing Miles Garrett today, you weren't going to contain him. You were just going to try to make him matter as less as possible. And that's pretty much what they did. I think that when you look at the Bears game plan early too, is they did a better job of trying to establish the run, I think, than they did against Green Bay, which I think that was my biggest complaint last week is they really just could not get anything going. And it might not necessarily be all of the Bears' fault. I just think that the Packers were very well prepared for everything. But there were opportunities I thought you could have established to run better and you didn't. Today, they were able to go to the outside away from Miles Garrett, and you did a better job of establishing that run. And you also got Caleb in a rhythm early. My biggest complaint today, which it's hard to complain about a 31-3 victory, we talked about the middle of the game a little bit. We alluded to that. I thought Ben Johnson got too cute in the second half.
Yes. Yes. The 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 run with Colston Loveland was bad. Um, some of the play calling, you were not aggressive enough. Um, the fact at the end of the half when you didn't either score points or run the clock out and you gave the Browns another opportunity. They didn't score, but you gave them that opportunity. That was bad. Uh, there's definitely things that you're Ben Johnson. You're like, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
And I mean, the comforting thing is you know that he adjusts and everything, so it's not like there wasn't a point where I was worried we were going to lose, but there was the point in like the later end of the second half, in the early end of the third, where I'm like, are we really going to have to scratch and claw our way out of this one? Because personally, this is another thing too. I kind of wish in the fourth quarter they would have started pulling more guys. Like I would have had Case Keenum in there on that final drive the Bears had, honestly. I just
Yeah,
they
I that
weren't coming the Browns weren't coming back at that point.
they weren't, and with and was I worried about like many injuries? No, like because usually it's the team that's physically dominating. They're not the ones that get injured, but with the cold weather and how many soft tissue injuries the Bears have had this season. I worried about hamstrings. I worried about, calves, worried about groin pulls. Like that's what I worried about. In the
Oh,
cold
me
weather, it's
too.
hard to stay, limber. Um, but you know what? It worked out. And the injuries you had were the injuries you had going into the game. Like in Roma Dunze, 2 weeks in a row, you had a Bear player aggravate an injury during warmups,
Yeah.
and Kyler Gordon is out for the regular season. That one hurt. Uh,
That one hurt.
Roma Dunze out again this week. You hope he's back for next week, um, because I saw way too much Alameda Zacchaeus for my liking.
He
Those
fell
should be,
down on that one route. You remember that,
yeah.
right?
That one looked bad on Caleb Williams, but the ball was right on the money of where Zacchaeus was supposed to be. He just
Right.
fell down.
And that's where, even though it was the mess up on the play, that really was the culprit. And if it wasn't a mistake, if he didn't fall down, it would have been complete. It would have looked good. But that was one of those play calling moments where I thought, too cute. Just it was 3rd and 1. Just run the
Yep.
ball. You were able to pound those small yardage plays all game. So that's that. And you mentioned the Loveland run. That was one where I think Komet missed his block, and it could have worked better had he not done that. But I'm just like, you're in a rhythm. You're moving downfield in hunks. It just felt unnecessary, and you were on the
I'm
verge of going up 21-0.
Yeah, I'm fine if he had a run for Loveland that went inside, or right off the tackle. You had him going stretching the outside of the field, and he's not DeAndre Swift. He's not fast enough. That
No,
that linebacker came in there, and yeah, Cole Kmet missed the block, but still, that I don't think he gets there, even with
I
that
don't think.
block.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. I
He would have
so
had he would have gotten contact. It would have been have a good play on his part where he carried guys into the end zone, because he would not have got in just straight speed.
it was really too bad that that particular drive didn't result in any points because Caleb was slinging it on that drive. I mean, he was going out there and finding that rhythm and throwing darts downfield, and uh, Cairo Santos missing a 35-yarder. That was rough. I mean, even if they would have just gotten a field goal there, you think, okay, you're up 17-0, you're feeling pretty good. And again, even though I wasn't suddenly worried the Bears were going to lose, it was just like, really, like I just wanted them to immediately take any slight hope the Browns had and just dashed it. And again, it didn't matter in the long run. You crushed them. You absolutely crushed them. And really the play in the game that flipped everything for good was the DeMarco Jackson pick, which was a great play, by the way. He had a really good day.
Yeah, he really did. You have to consider bringing him back, um, to this team, because he's played really well
He
as a
has.
guy that you signed off the street.
Yeah. I mean, look at the production you've gotten from CJ Gardner Johnson. He had another pick today. You got a great game from DeMarco Jackson. He had a sack too. So he had a sack and an interception. Uh, so those are guys you just brought in. Obviously, CJ Gardner Johnson has more of a resume, but he was on his couch when Ryan Poles called him, and they brought him in, and he fit almost immediately, which I think is surprising and not surprising. I mean, he's played with Dennis Allen before, but when you're just coming off your couch like that, it's hard to
He wasn't
come
on the
into there.
couch because of talent issues. He was on the couch because of personality issues,
Yes,
and
you're
and
right.
he does have limitations as a corner. In a straight man coverage, like he'll get beat. He'll get beat pretty good, and we've seen that a
We
couple
saw that in
times.
Green Bay.
Yeah, and that's but when you put him in the right positions, especially as a blitzer, he's really good. If you use him to his strengths, we saw in Philadelphia how good he was. When you play him where you know, to play to his strengths and not his weaknesses, you've got a good player. And he's for his to his credit, he's kept the attitude in check, and he has been from everything, it sounds like a good teammate. And nobody's tried to fist fight him yet.
No, I mean, he seems like he's getting along quite well in that locker room. And I think that it's very possible he just had a revelation, a come to Jesus moment where like, you know what? I need to clean up my act a little bit. Like you said, there was a reason he was sitting on the couch, and it's not talent. And I think the fact that he was given this chance, the fact that he was given a chance on a team with promise, with this up and coming head coach and a very well revered defensive coordinator, a guy he's played for before, this was his chance to say, you know what? I don't want to be sitting on the couch anymore. I want to get paid in the future. I need to clean up my act. That's what I at least want to think and believe. And I think it's a very plausible explanation to say, like, hey, he was given the chance and he's taking it in stride and he's doing everything he can to keep this chance. And we've needed him with all the injuries that we've had on defense, especially with Kyler Gordon going down. We have absolutely needed CJ Gardner-Johnson.
I mean, he was a huge pickup for the Bears at a time where they were desperate. Um, and
Yeah.
he came in uh and just was a huge uh pickup, and he came right in and stepped in immediately and made plays.
hmm And he had a really nice pick today, kind of that older over the shoulder grab. That was a pretty looking pick. We haven't even talked about the best interception of the day, though. The one that broke my brain. The Jalen Johnson pick that I thought was a touchdown catch.
Oh, that was a magic. Like he just yoink.
And that was what a play after he got absolutely cooked. It was one of the two deep shots that Shakir Sanders connected with. And I think it was Isaiah Bond that made that catch. And Jalen Johnson just got beat one on one. And I'm like, oh boy, he still doesn't look 100%. He's obviously coming back from that injury. Then, like a play or two later, oh, wait, he's got the ball? I don't think even he realized he had the ball for a second. I don't think anybody realized he had the ball. And then all of a sudden, he's in the back of the end zone looking down in his hand. He's like, oh, hey, I've got the ball. Look at that. That was insane. Yeah, I don't think you could really put that on Sanders. That pick you can't put on him. That was just a great play by Jalen Johnson.
No, you that like, you know, I it's tough. I mean, Sanders played a terrible game, just absolutely terrible, but he was not helped out at all either.
No, when you don't have the protection, when a pick like that happens, it makes a rough day at the office even rougher. And I mean, there were times where whoever it was, whether it was Sanders or his other guys, like they just clearly weren't on the same page. We saw several throws where it looked like the guy was supposed to come back or stop a route, and they kept going, and the throw just wobbled well short of the receiver. And then there were times too where he was just scanning the field and nobody was really there, and he didn't really know what read to make. It was a really, really rough day for Sanders. And I think that going forward, you're going to wonder if he can last in this league. And I'm not making that judgment yet, but he had the one really good game last week, even in a loss, but you just see a lot of instances where it's like, okay, some of the man on man stuff he can pick up if he's got his guy beat. We saw that today, but I mean, so much of these other plays, it just, you're like,
Wasn't
what
last
the
week
hell
against the
is going
Titans though?
on? It was. It was.
Yeah. This might be breaking news to everybody, maybe not. Matt LaFleur, according to Adam Schefter, Matt LaFleur told reporters that Micah's knee injury, which is thought to be a torn ACL, quote, doesn't look good.
Yeah,
And Schefter then reported 4 minutes later more about the belief that Packers standout Micah Parsons has suffered a season-ending torn ACL.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean that's just that
That's
really sucks for him. I mean, doctor to be like, ooh.
it's probably because he's disrespectful.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
was that those comments he made before the
Yeah.
Bears game?
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was weird. He's a
It
he
I
we're
don't know. It felt like he was trying to force something and it was just like not coming out right. It was just a little odd.
yeah, I mean, the Bears might like the when have the Bears ever done anything disrespectful this season? Like I feel like
Oh,
they're a pretty good
yeah.
sportsman team.
Well, the weird thing is they
Uh
hadn't even played him yet,
yeah, I think it was just him coming over and trying to fit in with the rivalry.
which to an extent I get, it just came out weird.
It came out really weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't really care or think much of it. I just thought it was a little odd, and that was about it. But I mean, either way, like I said, you don't want to see big players get hurt. And Devontae Adams might be hurt, obviously,
Yeah,
badly. Puka Nacua, yeah.
I watched that Devontae and the way he pulled up, that does
Ugh.
not look good. I mean, like it doesn't look like a season ending, except for the fact that we're at the end of the season.
Right, that's the thing. You don't have that cushion of time. I know Puka Nacua went down, but he came back in that game. So that could have been disastrous for the Rams, but he was able to come back. But if you lose Devontae Adams, that is still a notable loss. Devontae Adams isn't the guy he once was, but he's still a pretty big cog in that offense.
Yeah, he is.
I
He's
also,
very much a big cog in that offense.
speaking of which, the other notable Packer that may or may not be playing next week, the guy who just completely destroys us is Christian Watson. I know he went down in this game,
Yeah,
so we'll see what
it's
his status is for next
he did
week.
not come back into that game. And
No,
it was a game where they needed him too.
right. Because after that injury,
Um,
they didn't do anything on offense.
yeah. Um, so somebody tweeted, if Kyler Gordon ever ran into Christian Watson, I think they'd both just spontaneously combust.
Just no kidding. I mean, Kyler Gordon's played what, 3, 4 games this year?
He is, yeah.
I wonder
Um,
if they rushed him back. I don't know.
so, bum, bum, bum. It's not looking like it's good for Christian Watson on that injury.
What are they saying?
Um, dun, 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 dun.
I didn't see the injury. Was it a non-contact injury or was it a contact injury?
I'm not sure. I didn't see it happen.
I saw the Micah Parsons one. I know that was non-contact. That was obviously a knee buckle. I think he was going for a sack and he tried to cut in towards Bo Nix, and it just. I've had knee injuries before, man, and they are brutal. But yeah, the Christian Watson one I did not see.
Um,
I just know he went down. He didn't come back in the game. And I
he
mean, Christian Watson, that's a guy who's just battled so many injuries himself.
he went to the hospital. Christian Watson was taken to the hospital, but he's cleared to fly back home.
Hmm.
According according to CBS Sports, yeah. He was taken to the hospital um after the injury. And Matt LaFleur said he didn't know if he would be cleared to fly back with the Packers, but he apparently was.
Well, isn't that usually a sign of a concussion?
He was at some sort of chest injury.
Oh, chest injury. Okay. Oh, so it's probably like internal swelling or something
I have no
with the
idea.
pressure up there. I'm not a doctor, but that would be my guess. But
Um, so
that's one
we're
to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually not good when you go to the hospital to play 6 days later.
No, no.
Um, but I mean, the Bears needed this victory. Like
Hmm.
it was essentially if you want to make the postseason, it was a must-win game. And they did what they needed to do. They took care of business. They, for the most part, stayed healthy. Uh, and uh, you know, and Ben Johnson came out and gave a nice speech that makes you want to run through a wall.
Yeah, it was lonely last week not hearing good, better, best. So hearing good, better, best again felt really, really nice.
Yeah. And uh, you had DeMarco Jackson got one of the game balls
Well
and
deserved.
well deserved. And he said something in his speech that makes me very hopeful for this coming weekend. He said, I still got a bad taste in my mouth from that Packers game.
Hmm.
I think the Bears players are going to be hyped for that game.
I think so too. And I don't know if it's going to translate to a win or not, but I do remember a very similar feeling back in 2018. Remember, they beat the Packers to clinch the division. You remember
Hmm.
week one of that year,
Yep.
how they blew that 20-point lead, and Aaron Rodgers came back and he was all hyped up on God knows, and that another chapter in just that nightmare against the Packers at Lambeau Field. But I remember going into the game where they had a chance to beat the Packers and win the division and eliminate them, where, they were saying, this is personal. This is what we've played for. We wanted this rematch, and they did go out and win. Now, again, they still could very well lose next week. Jordan Love has had your number, and the Packers have had your number. Even with the injuries, I'm still not saying any shape or form that it's a sure thing. But that Bears team has not forgotten what happened last week. And good for them for not letting them get ahead of themselves. It is very, very easy to fall into the Browns trap while thinking ahead to that next Packers rematch. They came in belt to ass to the Browns. They didn't let that trap game get to them. And you know what? Good for the defense for not letting the Browns get a garbage time TD. I thought that was great at the end. They stopped the Browns and played hard until the very end. They were not going to let up a touchdown. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was watching the end of that game and I'm like, you know what? I guarantee Dennis Allen is saying into that mic, do not let them score here.
Yeah, I think so. Knowing what Dennis Allen is all about, he had the same mentality that I was hoping he would have. Like I'm like, man, I know it doesn't matter, but don't let them score. Don't let them score. I would love to pitch the touchdown shutout. The only points they had, it, kind of funny. We talked about Cairo Santos not being able to hit a 35 yarder. That one dude on the Browns, that kicker,
That has too
he
many
hit,
consonants in a row.
yeah, what's his name?
I it was it's like sounded like Smithy, but there's like there's Z's and Y's.
uh S- Smite? It's Smite. Smite is his name. Szmyt. Smite. Their only points was that 50-yard field goal in that cold, windy Soldier Field, and he hit it like it was nothing.
Yeah, I mean it looked like he had way more behind it.
He could have made that probably from close to 60 yards.
And the thing is, before the game, he was like saying that he didn't want to go any more than like 48 yards or something.
And he's like, okay, I'll make this
It's like, let me go, let me
50
grab a
yarder, no
Marlboro quick
problem,
and then come
whatever.
back and kick this field goal. Um,
Ended up being their only points.
yeah, but you mentioned that the Bears players, that they want to come back and play hard against the Packers. More importantly, is There's Ben Johnson. I guarantee you is is just going to be relentless watching tape and preparing for that game. He does not want to lose to Matt LaFleur twice.
Yeah, especially after he kind of started talking shit in the presser and then kind of backfired on him. I picture Ben Johnson sitting cross-legged in front of like an old analog TV, watching the tape, like literal like VHS tape footage, and he's got the clicker rewind, rewatching play after play. It just keep hitting the rewind button with just wide eyes, 5 o'clock shadow on him, and like you see his eyelid twitch like every time he sees something go wrong, and he's in the complete dark with just that TV in his face.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
comes
mean,
into the room, his wife comes in the room, he does like a poltergeist turn. They're here. Honey, you've been sitting in front of the TV too long. Why don't you take a break? Rips off his shirt. Never.
I I mean, he is going to be relentless because if they beat the Packers, they are a game and a half better than the Packers in the record in the standings
Hmm.
with 2 games remaining. And uh and that Packers game against Baltimore the week after is going to be just absolutely, a must win for them. And both it'll be 2 teams that are, had Super Bowl aspirations before the season started, desperate to win a game in the second to last week of the season.
Yep.
The pressure will be on.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a huge game next week. I'm
So
still worried we're not going to win, but because I'm just so scarred by the Packers, but you got to find a way. You got to go out and find a way to win. You're on your own turf. If you're going to be hyped up, then use that energy for the best.
yeah, it's you know, every week going forward, the rest of for the remainder of the season, both regular season and if you make it the postseason, is huge. And you beat your last easy opponent, period. There's you know, there's probably going to be no let me put it this way. You're not going to face any easy teams in the postseason. There's probably
No,
going to be
God, no.
one bad team that makes the NFC postseason, and that's the
The NFC East. Or not the
no
NFC East, the
the
NFC
NFC
South.
South. Yep,
Yeah.
NFC South.
Yep.
Whoever wins that, that'll be but the Bears wouldn't face them. Um, so they're going to be knocked out by the time the Bears. So um, you've got Green Bay, then you go to San Francisco, home against the Lions, and then if the season were to end today, you'd get Green Bay again.
Yeah.
You'd be playing
Nightmare.
Green Bay 3 times in 3 times in less than 2 months, 3 times in 5 weeks.
Yeesh.
So it is buckle up. It is time to put your big boy pants on and be ready to play.
Put
Because
on them big boy pants.
there we are in every game counts mode.
Yes, we are. And when we say big boy pants, we don't mean the Piper tights. We don't want those.
Uh, Big George comes out. He's like, I've got my big boy pants on. I call them pull ups. Mother makes me wear them in case because she said rubber sheets aren't for big boys anymore.
Not those big boy pants.
I'm a big kid. Look what I can do. I can wear big boy pants too.
Oh, that visual I didn't need.
Uh, George sitting in there and he's like, uh, he's like, sir, you left one of your dirty pull-ups in the garbage can again. Why was there a purple stain in the back of it? Shut up! I wasn't eating crayons any
Ew.
again.
Ew. Oh, oh, that's an image I really didn't need to see. Ugh.
Uh, Purple poop stain, George. Uh, but
Speaking of purple, I have some when they're playing in Jerry World. Obviously, you have that weird tradition of the road team wearing the home jersey. So they're playing the Vikings, and that's a lot of purple. So you're making gross purple scenarios and images in my head where I look at the TV and I just see more purple.
George's loyalty, when the Bears play the Vikings, comes into question. It's like, I do love a good
Yeah, see
purple.
that's a tough game for George. That's tough for George. We're playing purple, but I love purple.
I hope we all just win.
Everyone's a winner. Everyone who wears purple is a winner.
Everybody wears is a winner when they wear purple.
Purple equals W.
Uh, so it's you know, going into this weekend, I think we all had our fingers crossed that the Lions and the Packers would lose. And it was a good possibility to happen because they were both facing the number one team in the conference, the Rams and the Broncos. And you're like, oh, there's a very good chance that, at least one of those comes out with a loss, maybe both. And the Bears took care of business, and uh, you know, the Broncos and the Rams took care of business. Little too close to comfort at the end for both of those games, but um, here we are. And then going into game two at Soldier Field against the Packers is possibly going to be a much, much different game without Micah Parsons, definitely, and a good probability without Christian Watson. Uh, if they don't have Christian Watson, man, that's going to completely change the way they run this offense.
Yeah, I mean, how many times has he burned us over the years? And especially because when you don't have Kyler Gordon and you're playing man to man, well, guess what? Christian Watson is really, really fast, and he is going to beat you one on one more times than not with that speed. I mean, I said it last week, I'll say it again. How how many times over the past 30 years do we just sit and watch the Packers kill us with slants? Like if I
Yeah,
had $1 for every slant the Packers had against the Bears, I'd be a millionaire.
yeah, and so without those two players, there's definitely um, a major, major shift into how they want to play both offensively and defensively.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Rashawn Gary is good and has had a great year, but if you can focus on taking him away and not have to worry about Micah Parsons, makes your whole job a lot easier.
Yeah, no, I mean it's it's a big difference when those guys are in there versus not. And I mean, when you look at the way the Packers have played recently, you can say one of their best assets has been their defense. And I think it's still very good. It's just when you don't have Micah Parsons, there's a big difference there. It's kind of like when the Bears didn't have Khalil Mack for a few games. The defense is still good, but Khalil Mack can completely wreck a game by himself. It makes a big difference.
The Packers had they had a Super Bowl caliber defense. Um,
Yes.
so you, you take You take away the best player on a Super Bowl caliber defense, it's still a good defense. It's just much, much different dynamic.
Right. So your game plan is different. Their game plan is different. And I guess we'll just see what happens. Like I said, I'm still scarred by all those years.
Yep. Uh, so where do you want to go next?
I guess we could go with some baseball. I got a blurb I want to talk about, but I think there's even bigger news on the other side of town.
Go for it.
Well, first of all, I guess we'll just start with the biggest news, I suppose, is the White Sox won the draft lottery,
Yep.
and they have a chance to take a very, very highly touted prospect. Some are
With
saying
the
he's,
most Chicago name ever.
yeah, I was gonna say when I saw that name, I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty fitting. Very, very, very fitting. And this isn't a deal where it's like, oh, is it Chris Bryant or Mark Appel? I mean, I know the MLB draft's a little different, but uh, this is a consensus first overall pick. And it's basically feeling like Connor Bedard, where it's like when you won the lottery, oh, are they going to take him? Of course they are. Like everybody knows that they are going to take him. And this is potentially a franchise changing lottery win for the White Sox because he's going to come up quick. He's going to be here a lot sooner than a lot of other prospects in the past are. And, you look at the quality of college baseball and you realize how much closer it is to MLB caliber level. I'm not saying that you go straight there, but you're a very polished player when you play like a high-end college program and you have the talent. I mean, look at Paul Skeens, look at some of these other guys. I mean, Theo Epstein liked to draft college guys because of how quickly they can move up. Kyle Schwarber, his path to the big leagues was pretty quick. Same thing with Chris Bryant, all things considering. And he's going to be with the White Sox very, very quickly. And I think they're turning this thing around. I really do. So that the White Sox deserve to win that because they couldn't draft like higher than 10th when they had the worst season ever. They needed and were due for some good mojo. And they finally got some.
Yeah, and um, they're going to be able to draft a guy on the south side named Rock Chalowski. Like the jerseys are already getting ready to be sold.
Yeah.
That's going to be the number one White Sox jersey. The whole south side is like, they got a guy whose last name ends in ski. That's what we need for this team. A guy with a last name of ski.
They're going to be renaming the Polish sausages after him at the ballpark. When you
Give me a
buy
hot Chalowski.
a hot Chalowski. They really should do that. Just rename them Hot Chalowskis. That would be so perfect for them, and it would help them sell more Polish sausage, I think. That would be the perfect marketing ploy for them.
Oh my God. Let me get a campfire milkshake and a hot Chalowski, please.
It'll be delicious, but I don't think my intestines will feel too good in a few hours, but it's worth it.
My cholesterol is going to go through the roof.
Oh God, off to the bathroom I go.
Uh, yeah. So, um, it's it's pretty awesome that the White Sox were able to get the number one pick. And they had the best odds, but they weren't like amazing. They were like 27%. That's not anything close to a sure thing. Um, so I ended up watching the draft lottery live on my commute home, and uh, and I thought that the Royals were going to get it, and they just kept moving up and moving up. I'm like, oh, the Royals are totally going to get this. And I'm like, but the White Sox can't fall any farther than like fourth. And I'm like, oh, and then here we go, top three. That's good. And then I'm like, oh, here we go, number one. That was awesome. So good on the White Sox, and hopefully he turns out to be like a monster. because they could use it.
And the good thing is you have a lot of shortstops in your system and, including Colson Montgomery, and then you're going to have him among others. And you keep drafting shortstops because of their athleticism and you can move them around. So
Yep.
you can never have too many shortstops in your farm system.
Nope. Not at all. And so that's huge. Um, so now they just got to make some free agency moves.
Yeah, I know they've been mentioned with a few names. I don't know who they're going to get. I know Ryan O'Hearn was a name that was brought up. I mean, that would be a nice pickup. Ryan O'Hearn's a really, really solid dude. I wouldn't mind them getting him. I don't know if they're going to get any like big pitcher name, but they'll bring in more arms, obviously. They'll be able to maybe get some guys they can flip at the deadline. Maybe bring in a guy where we could solidify a position and kind of help the other younger guys grow. I think Ryan O'Hearn would be a really nice fit for them. I don't know if they're going to get him, but I think that would be a nice fit.
And I'm hearing rumblings that there's a bunch of teams that are interested in trading for Luis Robert.
Yeah, that is starting to percolate a bit, and I say trade him. Get what value you can now.
But I'm also hearing another name in there where a team is interested in trading for them, and that's Teal.
I don't think they're trading Teal.
I don't think so either, but you hope not. You're like, you finally got some good young players coming up and making an impact. Don't trade them away. Keep them. Trade the bad players. Keep the good players. That's how you win.
I don't think they're trading him. I think teams were inquiring about him, but I don't think that means they're serious about trading him. I
Uh,
just don't see it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't think it does either, but
Unless it
any
was an
team
offer you just absolutely couldn't refuse.
any team owned by Jerry has the potential to do something dumb.
Well, yeah. But I do think Chris Getz is starting to show some promise.
I do. I worry about the Jerry handcuffs on him.
The Jerry handcuffs. I just picture they're a pair of handcuffs and they just have a big smiling Jerry Reinsdorf face on the lock. Or the mouth is the keyhole. And every
It,
time you stick the key in, bleh.
it looks like the Wolverine popcorn bucket, except it's Jerry's face.
Uh, well, and Rick Hahn will call and say, "Yeah, I was put in those handcuffs many times." They'd call me into his office, they'd tell me to sit down, and then Kenny Williams would reach into his pocket and he'd take out the Jerry handcuffs.
You spent more than 8 cents this offseason. Into the Jerry cuffs you go.
And then he's put into a cage, and the door is just a big Jerry face with his mouth open.
Uh, but on the other side of town, he, I did I expect Kyle Schwarber to come to the Cubs? No. Did I have a little bit of hope? A little bit. A little bit. That didn't happen. And then Pete Alonso, nope, goes to the Baltimore Orioles, which I think was a great signing on Baltimore's part.
Oh yeah, no, that was a really good signing. The Mets are losing their guys left and right.
Yeah.
Everyone else is signing elsewhere. I I don't think that Kyle Schwarber was ever coming back, and I don't think Pete Alonso was ever an option. I'm just glad Kyle Schwarber didn't sign with the Reds. Because if you
Yeah.
add that bat in that ballpark to that lineup with that rotation, that's a problem.
Yeah. Out of any place, I'm like, you know what? Fine, go back to Philly. Like, finish your career there.
He's going to be
Um,
remembered as a Philly when it's all said and done. That's kind of sad.
it is sad.
But
You know what? That's just life works sometimes.
yeah, I mean, look. there was always that 40, 50 potential home runs in him, and he just never got there as a Cub. He had his moments. He put up some solid power numbers, but in terms of being that guy, it took him getting to Philly to reach that potential. It just did. He just never reached that ceiling here. And it
Yep.
is what it is.
And sometimes it's just the change of scenery, you know, helps you out.
He'll be the first one to tell you that.
Yep.
It is what it is. So,
Uh,
yeah, we wait out and see. Maybe we'll get somebody.
well, we got Hobie Milner.
Yeah. Hey, you need your crafty lefty. They got their crafty lefty.
Um, but what is up with the trade rumblings with Nico Horner?
I think that's nothing. I think that's nothing.
I hope so, because I don't know what you're going to get for him to make that worthwhile.
No, I think you should be extending him. The thing that I find interesting is when you hear that, what else are you hearing about the Cubs infield right now? They're and I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not trying to bite too hard, but the Alex Bregman talks are back again.
As they should.
Yeah, I agree, as they should.
I mean, I think if you had Alex Bregman this year, you were you'd be a far better team in far better position to, beat the Brewers.
Yeah, I do think that if you had Bregman this year, you would have gone to the NLCS. I don't think you would have gotten past the Dodgers, but I think you would have gotten to the NLCS.
Um, so I don't know. But you're looking at the top MLB free agents, and it started off hot. It slowed down a lot, the free agency push. But you know, the Cubs don't seem to be too into anybody. You heard that they met with Pete Alonso, but clearly that didn't go very far because he signed almost immediately afterwards um with the Orioles. Uh, they bowed out at a certain number with Dylan Cease, so that push wasn't real. Um, and you're hearing the rumblings with Bregman, but I don't know how real that's going to be because that number is going to be high. um, and then
I think they might be in on Tatsumi. I think that's a guy they're in.
maybe just they've been real quiet about things.
Which is kind of how they usually are. You hear, oh, the Cubs are interested in this, this, and this, but you don't hear a lot. Uh, I I was pretty hopeful for Michael King, but the latest reports are showing that the teams that are finalizing on him are not the Cubs. So it's probably gonna be the Red Sox or the Orioles, or I think there was one other team in there that wasn't the Cubs. That was kind of the guy I wanted, but if you get somebody else, I mean, could you still trade for maybe a Cabrera? Maybe. I I don't think Joe Ryan's going to happen because I don't think the Twins are going to trade him. But maybe there's somebody else you can deal for. I don't know. You got to add somebody though. I don't want Zach Gallen to be the guy they default to. I really don't. Not at this point.
Yeah, I don't want that either. They need another pitcher. Um, I just don't. I don't know where they go.
I don't know
Uh,
either.
It's uh, I just don't know where they go. And there's a long way to go. And it's weird. This hot stove was weird because it started shaping up like it was going to be a real hot stove, and then it cooled down pretty significantly.
Oh yeah, it was like somebody just dumped ice water all over it. And there were just so many different thoughts and feelings. Oh, it's going to move fast. No, it's going to move slow. I mean, because everybody knows that lockout is looming, so you don't know how people are going to react and how agents are going to react. I think that obviously the Scott Boras clients are going to be working like the Scott Boras clients, but that can help really set or unset a market. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes over the next few weeks because I really do think that these players are going to want to be in camp and ready for February. I don't think a lot of players are going to want to hold out.
You know that we said that, and then last year they did, and the year before they did.
They did, but again, there is that lockout looming the next year, and maybe it doesn't make a difference in that retrospect, but I don't know. We'll see.
Everybody says that the lockout is looming, and it appears that way. But if we all know it's coming, doesn't it also make it a little easier to work around it? And I mean, to prevent it from happening is you're the players association and the owners. Don't you just go, listen, we both realize this is bad. Like, can't we come to an agreement here? I
Well,
mean,
unfortunately, you have owners that don't want to spend anything, and the few owners like the Dodgers who will spend everything.
it just seems like, all right, uh, you you give and take. You give a cap, but you give a floor.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a floor, I think, is what you really need. But the Dodgers don't want a cap, and a lot of the other teams probably do. But do a
Yeah,
lot of those teams want to agree on a cap that is at the same level? I don't
I mean
know.
the players don't want a cap,
Oh, of course not. I'm
but
just, I'm just saying here, there's a whole difference with some of these owners.
yeah, I'm willing to give that cap if I get a floor in exchange. That just seems like a no-brainer because you're like, okay, well, players are going to get their money because you got to pay a certain amount. You have to. You can't run out there with a $20 million payroll.
What do you mean I have to spend X number of my pumpkin income?
No, no, no.
I like to think that the pumpkin sales at Gallagher Way is just a bunch of cash in like an old toolbox in Tom Ricketts' closet.
Uh, it's Tom's got all that money in his fanny pack. He's like, this is the amount you have to spend on free agency. Let me get it out of my fanny pack.
There's a bunch of change in there too. One, two, three, four. Oh, that's a button.
That's
Five.
Canadian. Can you use a toonie in America?
Oh, look, it's a silver dollar.
Boba Fett can take a toonie, can't he?
Ugh. Oh, could you imagine if we got Boba Fett?
I
Not gonna
wouldn't.
happen.
I wouldn't hate that.
No, no, I wouldn't either.
Uh, so the Bulls stink.
Yeah, I've stopped.
Like they are absolutely terrible.
They're just out of the way. They've won what, one game over the past few weeks.
Uh,
They
the
barely beat Charlotte the other night.
the Bulls' week this week has been almost as bad as Michigan's head coach's week.
Almost as bad. That is the key word. Almost.
Have you read all the details of that?
Wild.
Did you read what that he was tweeting only or DMing OnlyFan models at halftime of the Ohio State game?
Yeah.
What?
Could you imagine? Oh my. Like if you were a player and you knew that was happening? The biggest game of the year in the Big Ten? Let's face it. If Ohio State or Michigan say, what would you rather have? Win a Big Ten championship or beat the other team? You know they're saying beat the other team 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a Michigan fan, But man, Ohio State gave no Fs. They tweeted out a picture of their head coach with his family. Like I was like,
Yeah, that was
woo,
savage.
they gave no Fs. They were just like
No.
they're loving it. And this that whole situation just was bad.
It was bad. It was awful. And isn't she the daughter of the Bears head of scouting?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I I mean, did you hear the 911 call? That was
Yeah.
released.
Yeah. I mean, I feel terrible for that girl. Like, you know, like she had to have been terrified.
Because he broke into her house.
Yeah. Said he was going to kill her for ruining his life.
Yeah.
Like that's on you, my man. Like she couldn't have done anything without your okay. She's your employee.
Yeah.
You could have easily said no.
What a and didn't she get pregnant at one
Yes.
point?
Yes. And he door dashed a plan B.
Oh, man, I mean just and the fact that all this information kind of came caving down so quickly, but I don't know if you saw it. Somebody tweeted a few weeks ago that, oh yeah, Moore's in trouble. Let's just say it's not good. Something to that tune.
Well, yeah, I mean, apparently this was the worst kept secret ever. There's video of like them just chatting it up on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then he like doubled her salary, which is all public record because she's a state employee. So if you're a state employee, like it's public record. Like I don't know about it in Michigan, but in Illinois, uh, you you can go on a website and any state employee, you can just look up their salary. It's on a website. Like I probably Michigan, probably the same way. You could see she got almost a double her salary. And then when they found out about it, he fired her. Rather than he could have moved her to another department, but he fired her. And then she's the one that blew the whistle. It's like, all right, you're gonna fire me? Okay. And she's like, so many dumb things. And I guarantee though, had Michigan beat Ohio State, that would have got swept under the rug.
Yeah, could be.
So dumb.
Yeah, just wild stuff. Wild, wild stuff. So I wonder who they're going to go after, who they're going to hire. Tom Thayer on the radio said they should just try to give the bag to Marcus Freeman. But Marcus Freeman's got a pretty good gig, even though he just went through, not making it to the playoff, and then they obviously backed out of the bowl games at Notre Dame. I mean, that was obviously a very controversial ruling where people have many various opinions. But I think he's got a good gig there. But I mean, hey, could you, as Michigan, say, hey, we're going to give you more money than God, and you're going to have the chance to coach in this now powerhouse conference that has Indiana, Ohio State, you guys competing head to head. Would that be appealing to him? I don't know. You're going from one big program to another, one historic program to another.
There's
And,
there's another
I don't
interesting
know.
name. There's another interesting name
Hmm.
that may be without a job. John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Or the other team that could lose out on that winning that division is Mike Tomlin.
Do you think he'd have the patience for college kids, though?
I don't know. But Harbaugh has family ties with Michigan. Like If he gets fired,
I mean, I could see Harbaugh more than Tomlin for sure. Sure.
because that's one of those jobs that you're just like, yeah, that's a good job.
Oh, it's a great job. It's a great job. I mean,
Uh,
I think Michigan is with everything that's happened, the fact that they just had to fire their athletic director because it was what, three scandals now
yeah,
under him. And even if he wasn't directly involved, it's like, okay, like you got to kind of take a fall here. So they let him go this past week. You got to go big. Like if you're Michigan, you got to try to go big. And I'm sure that Marcus Freeman would be on their list. I'm sure they're keeping an eye on who loses what jobs in the NFL. I'm sure they're keeping a list on guys that might be looking to get a better gig that are in college football right now. I mean, we've already seen several coaching changes in college football over the past week or so. And, there's going to probably be more.
I
So they're
just
going to have to swing for the fences here.
I just like that Urban Meyer announced that he wasn't going to take the job. Like, bro, they were not going to offer you the job.
Yeah, you're not getting the job, and Brian Kelly's not getting the job. I think you would be stupid at this point to hire Brian Kelly as your head coach.
Oh yeah,
I don't care
absolutely
what kind
stupid.
of football mind he is. He is a cancer.
Yeah, yeah. Do not. But Urban Meyer saying he's not going to take the job is like Alex announcing on this show that he's not going to date Sydney Sweeney.
Hey,
Listen, it's not a dig. You made that decision. She's not good enough for you. You just said no officially.
what if in a week you saw me posting on Instagram legitimately me on a date with Sydney Sweeney? The first I would put in the title, "Suck It, Sean."
Uh,
No, you're
gosh.
right though. You're absolutely right. In all seriousness, you're right. I mean, it would be like me saying, "Yeah, I'm not going to take the new GM job of the New York Giants now that that's open."
I'm turning down the Mega Millions winnings.
Yeah, don't want it. Don't want it.
Yeah. Sorry, Urban Meyer. Nobody was going to offer you that job. You're in purgatory.
Yeah, him and Brian Kelly uh, have matching jackets and seats right next to each other in purgatory.
Uh, um, so I guess we wrap this up talking about Blackhawks.
Very worried about Connor Bedard.
Do we know how bad that injury is yet?
Not yet. I think we'll know this week. I think he's. Listen, I would love to be wrong. If you're listening to this by now and it's already said it's not that bad, I would love to be wrong. To me, I don't think there's any way this is good.
Um, yeah, I'm hopeful. Um, I'm hoping that it's just, you know, maybe a shoulder popped out of socket or something. And it's just painful at this point, but it's not looking good.
Yeah,
Uh, and the
yeah. It's
Blackhawks have
it's
been,
gonna look rough for a while.
yeah, and you're out your captain, you're out your best player, and they're just not playing well.
Yeah, and I mean, it was really frustrating that that happened when he was on pace to have such a huge year. But the long-term health of him is the most important thing right now. Um, any hope she had for the playoffs, that's not happening at this point. I mean, this was never really a year to make the playoffs, but at least you could look at the playoffs as a possibility past October. And I think that you're seeing promise from a number group of guys. And now is the chance for Nick Lardis to shine. He was called up after the Bedard injury. Now is his chance to make an impact and for other guys to grow. But it's not going to be must-see TV anymore for a while if Bedard's not playing.
Right.
And can we call up Brisant to be our backup goalie yet? He's basically been rehabbing in Rockford, but I think I've seen enough of Arvid Soderblom.
I would agree with that.
I think we're done there. So that's all I got to say on that.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I just had one little blurb. Do you remember the Cubs game in April when they had that crazy back and forth contest against the Diamondbacks?
Vaguely.
They were up 7-1. They gave up 10 runs, and then they scored 6 in the bottom of the 8th on the Kyle Tucker game-winning homer.
Okay.
Remember crazy game?
Yeah.
Well, footage of that game is now a plot point in a movie.
Which movie?
The new Knives Out movie.
Oh, yeah. I saw the movie.
Yeah, that's from that game.
Okay.
From No Dead Man, which, let me just say, I think that's the best Knives Out movie. I think that is my favorite.
I still like the original, but this one was better than the second one, the Glass Onion.
Much better. I think it was
I like
much
this
better.
one a lot. Yeah, I like this one.
The acting was so good.
Yeah, I saw that one in the theater.
I wish I did. I totally forgot about it. I just watched it last night on Netflix, and I'm like, this is a masterpiece of cinema.
Yeah,
I think it might be my favorite movie of the year. It was so good.
Yeah, I did like it a lot. It was good.
But yeah, that's what that footage is from. It's from that game. Fun little fact.
Very cool. Very cool.
So that was my last little blurb. If you haven't seen it, if you're into the Knives Out movies and you haven't seen Wake Up Dead Man yet, watch it. It's on Netflix. Highly recommend. Well written, really good concept, really good range of characters, really, really well acted, well shot too. The cinematography in that movie was great. Watch it. It's great.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I really liked it. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Share this podcast with your friends to help grow the show. Follow us on social media at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com, or Swerski_sports_podcast on Instagram, ShyFanPat2 for Twitter, Alex on Twitter/X, or AlexanderJPatCreative.com for all the cool stuff that Alex does. And again, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like... Remember, New Yorkers, smoking crack is not legal on planes. Bears 31 to -7. The Bears!
Oh, when the Bears go bearing down